From calling him smart as hell to supporting the Nuggets center, even though he backed Joel Embiid to win the MVP, Damian Lillard has revealed the best player in the NBA, and it's Nikola Jokic. Dame believes that Jokic is smart as hell. That is Jokic's biggest strength, after all, so it's not surprising to see Dame raving about the Serb's basketball IQ. In the current era, when you talk about the most intelligent players, you've got to put Jokic at the very top. He understands the plays before they develop, and given his complete skill set, the Serb knows where to be and when to be. This makes him a lethal competitor and almost impossible to stop when he's feeling it. Lillard would know all about that, wouldn't he? Joker's been ripping up the Western Conference for quite some time now, and teams would normally rely on the rest of the supporting cast in Denver to not show up. But now that the Nuggets have a fully healthy roster, it's impossible to stop Jokic. His full strength is on show every night, and it's a nightmare for teams to deal with him. Dame's probably still thinking about that Blazers-Nuggets game back in December 22, when he put up 40-point double-double with 12 assists, only to lose to Nikola's 33-point performance where he missed out on a triple-double by 1 assist. A couple of days later, Jokic came up with nearly another triple-double, this time missing out by 2 rebounds, recording a 29-8-11 display against the Trailblazers in a blowout win in Denver. More important than those numbers was Jokic's intelligence, the way he adapted to the game after that close win to help Denver win by a big margin only a couple of days later. But that's not the only thing that makes him the best player in the league. Jokic has the ability to get an organic triple-double, as per Dame time. When Lillard speaks, the world listens. He's one of those players who you can count on to be painfully honest all the time. The respect he has for his fellow athletes is fantastic to see, and tells you all you need to know about how much Jokic is appreciated across the NBA. For Dame, Jokic is someone who can do a little bit of everything, and more often than not, he does everything in the same game. It's stupidly brilliant to see a center who stands as tall as the Serb does to be that good at finding the right pass, too. Scoring is something that comes naturally to him. But if you believe what Lillard has to say, so does rebounding and assist making. And Dame isn't just saying that, it's actually true. Jokic is easily one of the best pass makers in the league. When the NBA was first treated to Jokic, they realized that he wasn't what they'd expected to see in a tall and lanky center. Centers by nature in the NBA are expected to be dominant paint players who can protect the rim and grab rebounds, while offering a range of scoring on the other end of the floor. Don't get me wrong, Jokic offers all that to a high degree, but he also comes with something that you don't necessarily find in abundance among centers. That's assist making, which requires a lot of high IQ, and not many centers are known for possessing that much intelligence on court. Let's give it a minute to think about it. Who was the last center to do anything remotely close to what Jokic does on an NBA court? The only name that comes to my mind is Tim Duncan. Even he wasn't as great a passer as Jokic is. Nikola ended the regular season in 2023 with 9.8 assists. That's absolutely wild. He could have recorded a triple-double for the season if he hadn't sat out the last few games, because Lillard's right. He can assist 10 times or more for fun in a game, but he also compares pretty well to other great bigs in terms of scoring and rebounding. Just because Jokic can thread the needle to perfection on the court, that doesn't mean he can't do what he's supposed to do. Look, I'm not biased, so I won't say that Jokic is an elite defender. He's not an Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo on defense, but he does his bit defensively too. Jokic uses his height advantage mostly in the opposition paint to grab offensive boards, and he helps out in his own paint too whenever the team needs him to rise to the challenge. When the entire offense runs through you and you can help out on the defensive end too while standing at nearly 7 foot, then no wonder he's being hailed as the best center in the league. Take a look at how he played the 2022-23 season when most of the Nuggets side was fully fit and firing on all cylinders. He wasn't the primary scorer for them unlike the last few seasons and still ended with 24.5 points per night. There were many games when Jokic wouldn't even attempt more than a couple of shots in the first half and then explode toward the end. That gives him a massive advantage now that he has the required help around him, but don't think for 1 second that he can't score. He's way too efficient when it comes to scoring. The Serb shot at over 63% during the regular season in the 2022-23 season and was shooting at nearly 50% from beyond the arc in the postseason. That's outrageous. But for Damian, the biggest reason behind Joker being the best player in the league is his consistency. Yeah, talking on his Instagram Live back in 2023, Lillard discussed all that makes Joker the best player in the league. To average nearly a triple-double over the course of the regular season and to average 30, 13, 10 in the postseason highlights a couple of things. One, that Jokic can definitely make the right passes. He can do everything to a higher degree. And the most important thing of all, he's insanely consistent. Lillard discussed that the Serb plays the game the same way every game, and he's absolutely spot on. You can tune into any Nuggets game in the postseason, particularly, and you'll see the Joker approaching the game in the same effective manner every time. In a way, this ability of Nikola is similar to LeBron's. He's an efficient scorer like James, but isn't afraid to make the right pass even in important situations. That's actually what makes him so difficult. Other greats like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant almost always went for the shots themselves, but LeBron and Jokic aren't afraid to dish out the perfect pass if someone else has a better look than them. This, along with their consistency to produce the same numbers and performances, is staggering. Jokic can show up to the same game 100 times and produce similar numbers 99 times out of 100. He's built different, and then you factor in how he doesn't even care about individual awards. And my respect for him goes up a lot more. If any other player in NBA history had won back-to-back MVPs like Jokic, they'd do anything in their power to make it 3 in a row. Nikola played out of his skin to take the Nuggets to a first-seed finish in the Wild West, yet he chose to sit out the last few games of the 2022-23 season, which if he hadn't decided to do, Joker could have ended the season averaging a triple-double, playing for the best team in the West. How do you deny someone with those stats the MVP? You don't. Jokic, though, didn't care. He's made it explicitly clear that he doesn't care about winning the MVP and has his eyes set on the NBA championship. Still, many believe that he should have won the MVP in 2022-23 season as well. And Dame discussed that too, saying the MVP award doesn't necessarily go to the best player in the league. Lillard had backed Embiid to win the MVP, so for him to say that Jokic was the best player in the NBA ruffled a few feathers for sure. But not one to mince his words. The Trailblazers superstar explained why he'd chosen Embiid over Jokic. He said that the Sixers star was worthy of winning the MVP, but the MVP award doesn't justify who the best player is in the league. He's actually spot on here too. Allow me to explain, do you remember how, up until the 2022-23 season, everyone was collectively of the view that Giannis had been the best player in the NBA for the last 4 to 5 years? Yet he'd only won the award in 2 out of those 5 years. It's the same for Jokic now too. There are a lot of factors that determine who wins MVP, and then you have to understand the problem of voters' fatigue, NBA's biases, and all that. In a way, I agree with Lillard saying that Jokic is the best player in the league, and Embiid deserved the MVP. So, from Dame backing Embiid to win MVP and still being on board the Jokic hype train to calling the Nuggets center's mart as hell, here's who Damian Lillard thinks is the best player in the NBA.